So I've been playing AFK Journey for a little over a month now, and today I wanted to give you new players something to go off of for story clear and AFK Journey progress, basically a tier list for what characters you guys should be building. So let's just jump straight into things. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel new. Let's just jump straight into things. Now I do apologize if my voice sounds a little bit off. I've just woken up and making a video straight away first thing in the morning because I've got to get that going. Alright, so this is the tier list we're going to be working with here. Someone else made this, so apologies if the images look kind of weird. They do look kind of strange. I'm going to adjust this tier list just a wee bit, just give me a sec. Okay, so I've adjusted the tier list more to kind of like make it clear as in like what I'm going to be, how I'm going to be ranking these things. Also, I've added a haven't played tier. These are the characters that I just haven't played enough of to be able to give a proper ranking. Okay, let's jump into things. Well, immediately that's one that I have not played. So yeah, I have him on my account, but I only just got him recently from one of the like daily login things, so I haven't had a chance to properly use him yet, but I did just get him in my account like literally like 2 days ago. I will update this list in the future when enough new characters kind of come out and he'll be changed. Okay, immediately just an air. These are the blue rarity characters, the only ones in the game. They're just gonna don't build them, don't bother. Unfortunately. And remember, context for this list is it's going to be a story list. This is not a PvP or a bossing list. This is just for story and AFK journey progress. Alright, Coco, must build. This unit is incredible. If you haven't built Coco already, I don't know what you're doing. This character basically just provides a huge amount of damage reduction to your team. She's one of the best units for story clear and AFK stage progress. Definitely a unit that I would strongly recommend building. I'd say Arden's pretty good. I think he's more strong in PvP, though I don't think he's necessarily the best for story and AFK stage progress. That being said, I've only played him like a little bit. I'd say he's good, but probably more niche cases depending on the type of units that are in the stage that you're fighting. Thorin, easy S tier, easy must build. Like, he's insanely strong for pretty much every form of content in the game. He's one of the best tanks, if not the best. Strongly recommend picking him up, even just if you haven't already. Not even just for story or AFK stage progress, he's just the best unit in the game, probably. 𝙀𝙓𝙋𝘼𝙉𝘿 is very strong for story AFK stage progress, as is, where is she? Seeya. They are not required, though. I would say they're the top DPSs you can use in those teams, but they're not like these units where it's like you need to have these on the team. You can run other DPSs. These are going to be the best DPSs probably for the teams, but you can run other DPSs if you choose to. She's alright, she's good. No, she's probably good but niche. Okay, where are we? So we got this guy, I think his name's like Kafra or something like that. He's alright. He's pretty decent tank. Can't go too wrong with him. That being said, I'd probably put him down here. He's kind of alright. He just doesn't have a huge amount of uses in story AFK stage progress. Okay, next up we have 𝙀𝙀𝙋𝘼𝙉𝘿. I'd say he's probably definitely good tier. He's definitely very good. He has a lot of really good uses. Yeah, he's all like lifesteal kind of thing is pretty great. And AoE focused damage dealer, not bad as well. Reiner, easy must build. If you pick him up, if you get him out of all of the Hypergene Celestias, he is probably the best one in my opinion. Close second would be like 𝙀𝙬𝙉. She's also insanely good. I've had a bit more of an opportunity to see what she does. I've changed my mind on her. I used to recommend Reiner as like the top one. I still think he's the best one, but 𝙀𝙬𝙉 is like a very close second for one to pick up. So if you like 𝙀𝙬𝙉 more, definitely pick up her if you want to. But Reiner's really good basically just because he can remove a unit from the battle. So say for example, it'll just be a random point in the battle, it'll be like healer, disappear, and then the healer will appear again later, but by that point the entire team is dead. So he's really good for story and AFK stage progress, especially when you get stuck, because you can target focus a unit that you're having trouble with and just completely remove them from the fight. So very strong. At the start of the fight as well, you can also switch places with one of your units and one of their units and switch the places around. So what you'll do is you'll usually put a unit on your side that is harder to kill and then target a unit of theirs that's weak and just burst down the unit, and then they'll switch back kind of eventually. And 𝙀𝙬𝙉 just does insanely good knocks and stuns basically. So she's really strong too. Okay, we don't have this guy in the game yet. I don't know why he's on the tier list. Seth is pretty good for story clear. I'd say he's about the same kind of level as 𝙀𝙀𝙉𝙉 in terms of like damage output. Hoenn, very strong healer, basically massive AoE heals. However, in my opinion, you do need to get her to, I believe it was Mythic Plus to make her like properly good. So yeah, Even still, very, very nice early game. The only reason for the Mythic Plus is she takes a little bit to get her heals up without it. Caroline, very, very strong. Very, very strong for story clear. Basically just having freezes on her is insane. Basically just, yeah, any freezing like roots or stuns or any CC kind of stuff, crowd control, is very, very good. So she is honestly very amazing for that. Burial's not the best for story clear in my opinion. He's more better with like bosses and like some of the other stuff, but yeah, I'd probably put him down kind of here, maybe here, but honestly probably here. He's kind of for those very niche situations where you would use him. Odie, honestly, actually, no, sorry, wrong tier. Sorry, my bad. Very, very strong unit. He's basically one of your DPS choices. But do keep in mind, in order to get him to this level, you do need to get him to Mythic Plus. His weapon is what makes him like God tier. He's good without it, but his weapon is what makes him Mythic Plus. I don't know why I started there. Because basically what it does is when a poisoned enemy drops below 50% HP, it will basically just instant-kill that enemy, which is insanely strong. Do keep in mind that doesn't apply to bosses and I believe elite enemies in the lead stages. Leica, she is very good in the early game, because you get a bit of a speed and haste buff. But I'm going to be honest, she kind of falls off a lot in the later game. But that being said, if this was the early game kind of tier list, I'm going to put her up here because I am doing this for like a mixture of new players and good players. Do keep in mind, she can be here or like here during the early game, but she will fall off pretty quickly once you get into like the later AFK stages or later story progress, because she just loses a lot of her usage. Igor is just a funny one. I wouldn't recommend building him early on, but he can be really, really useful to cheese certain stages just because he moves around so much. So if you find that helpful, he can be very strong and he can do a lot of damage, so he's pretty good. I think Brutus is very, very good. He's better earlier on. Once you get to later stages, he loses a lot of value, but he's pretty good early on, and you only need to get one copy of him to make him good. Basically what he does is when he gets to a certain amount of HP threshold, which is very, very low, instead of dying, he just becomes invisible for a little bit, does a little bit of extra damage, and gives your team a chance to heal him back up. I'd say, yeah, this character is very good. She's actually no, probably, no, I'll put her here. She's at the top of good tier. So she's basically an AoE mage that does buffing as well. So she's pretty decent. Faye, I have not built her enough to really talk about her. I know she's kind of like air tier, or probably good but niche, but probably air tier. I just don't have enough information to talk on her about it though. Kruger is very, very for story clear. He's good in bosses. He's really, really good in bosses, but that's because he has like a defense shred, and it's just not the best regular stuff. So he's not good in PvP and he's not good in story clear, but he is definitely S+ tiered in boss clearing for the defense shred. It's a single target defense shred, and that's kind of why. When you get Damien to Mythic Plus, he is insanely strong. He's a very, very good heals, and very, very useful for the team. So, but do keep in mind, you do need to get into Mythic Plus to reach that really, really good status. But other than that, he's pretty damn strong regardless. I think he's a very good healer in the game. Very good alternative if you don't have a 5-star healer too. Sorry, not a 5-star, an S-rank healer. Nero, in my opinion, is just air. Same with this guy. It's not that they don't have their uses. It's more just the fact that literally run any other Graveborn heroes. They're the only two ones I'm just like, there's literally no usage for them in the game. Like, if you want to run a full Graveborn team, Thorin, Seeya, Caroline, Igor, Viperian, run those 5. There's literally no point. You can run a Savannah as well. We'll get to it later, but there's no point in running these two on any of the teams. They were just options for other factions that do their job better, or in their own factions, just better units. There's literally no purpose to run these two, in my opinion. They're just kind of poop. All right, Marilee is a good but niche option. I believe she's good with dealing with like elite enemy stages and the higher HP enemies. That being said, she's not a bad unit. She's just really, really good at bossing. She's meta for bossing. So if this is a bossing tier list, she'd be a must-build character. But for story clear, because there's multiple targets, she's one of those units that specializes in single target. So she just falls off a little bit in these kind of stages. This guy is, you know what, hold on, give me a sec. I'm adding a tier list level below. This guy is trash. Do not build him. He is the worst tank in the game, one of the worst units in the game. He's just a really, really shit tank. Like, he just don't build him, trust me. In any content at all, he is just one of the worst units in the game. Has no current use in the game. This might change in the future if we ever get units that allow him to function, but currently, absolute hot garbage. Do not pick him up. Do not play him. Do not build him. He is awful. Iron, very, very strong DPS unit. He's the wilder probably DPS for story and AFK stage clear. Essentially what he does is he has a big tornado that groups all the enemies together. I don't think I need to say much more than that. That's why he's kind of strong. Cassidy is pretty good. Basically just AoE magic DPS. Very decent. She gets a lot better the further you invest into her as well, so better in the late game. 𝙀𝙓𝙋𝘼𝙉𝘿, another really good unit, just decent DPS all around, has, I believe, good lifesteal. I haven't played him a huge amount, but the amount I have played of him, he's been pretty good. He's also pretty decent in PvP. So Granny is probably a very strong unit. She's a very decent tank, and honestly, we kind of like that here. She basically just has some like AoE heals for herself, so not too bad. Sylvania, very, very strong assassin DPS. Do need to get it to Mythic Plus though, because she gets a little bit better functionality in Mythic Plus. That being said, you can still use her before that if you want to. And the reason why I'm putting her in very strong as opposed to like Viperian being down here is I believe she has some very good niche use cases where you need to take out a backline unit and she allows you to do that. But she's also just good in most general kind of content anyways, because you can just target the healer or target one of their strong DPSs in backline and just completely delete them from the game, which is great. Okay, so we're going to do these two in conjunction because they're very important. I'm putting both of these in the must build tier. These are the two best supports currently in the game for PvE. Rowan is amazing. I don't think I need to explain this too much because a lot of people already have him and using him, but we'll just keep this very brief. Basically, he's an energy battery for the team. He does do heals as well, but his main thing is going to be his energy battery. If you can get him to Mythic Plus though, he does get very, very good single target heals. He'll basically have a potion that he'll use on your, I believe it's your lowest HP enemy or ever the frontline enemy, I can't remember which one, but it basically just can heal them from like 1 to full in like 1 usage, so he's very, very strong for PvE stuff, and PvP too. And then Smokey, same kind of reason, massive AoE heals, small energy battery, so he does more healing than Rowan does, but he also generates some energy too. He's very, very good. I believe he gets better with Mythic Plus. I haven't gotten him to Mythic Plus yet, so I'm not going to speak on that, but even with that, having a Mythic Plus, he is insanely strong. Brian is just a good DPS unit all around. That's about pretty much it to say on him. Valen is okay in the early game. We didn't have many character options, but he's anti. There's just better options. Untundra is very, very strong. Actually, you know what? Must build. If you don't have Thorin or you want to run a certain team setup, there are specific team setups for AFK stage clear. She's one of the best tanks in the game for basically story stuff. So yeah, very, very strong unit all around. Basically just has a massive defense boost she applies to herself and I believe also allies. I wish I could like this character because I really want to, but she is very eh. The only problem with her kit that makes her kind of eh is she could be good. She does some very decent damage, like very good damage, don't get me wrong, but it's all like in her ultimate, and the problem is her ultimate takes so goddamn long to charge that you need to run like a Rowan or something on the team. At that point, you run any other of the DPS characters and you'll be doing more damage overall. She's just kind of Chippy, don't build. Actually, hold on, I'm gonna put these two in the trash, don't build, actually, now that I think about it, because there's literally no point to building them at all. Rice I haven't played enough of to confirm whether he's good or not. Corrin is very, very strong, very, very good DPS. He is much, much better in like boss Dream Realm though. He gets really, really strong in that, so do keep that in mind. Atalanta is trash. Do not build her for story content, honestly, kind of very bad. Just don't build. Same with this guy, if you even forget his name. I haven't played him, I just know he's one of the worst units in the game. Walker, I don't see a point in building him. He's okay. Technically, he's A tier for story clear, but he's so bad and everything else, I'm just like, don't build him. Alrighty, we then have Lucius. He's really, really good early game, so he'd probably be like good tier, but he does fall off down to A tier late game. He loses a lot of value once you start getting some of the better tanks. So unfortunately, yeah, he loses a lot of value. Floribel, right next to Seeya, they both synergize well together. They both do insane amounts of damage. Floribel can actually outpace these two in terms of damage. And yeah, basically that. She's just really strong and has summons as well. Themesi is very good, basically just a tank that allows you to move around and knock people around, so very, very strong in that regard. Okay guys, so that is basically going to be my tier list. Pretty much the way I would kind of do things. Obviously this depends on synergies and different things, but basically pick any of the units up here. If you want to support, pick one of these two. If you want a tank, pick one of these two. If you want like good like utility units, pick one of these three, and then you can grab one of these three DPSs, a combination of any of the units. Basically anything that's in the must build at very strong tier and good tier are worth building. Everything else below that, I would say, can be useful, but honestly, everything above that is more useful. You definitely want to be building pretty much all of the units that are in the must build and very strong tier. Remember, this is for story clear and AFK stage progress. So if this is a unit for like regular content, that one would be up there, for example, Mirabelle. But honestly, Yeah, very, very strong units, all in the top 2 tiers, definitely worth building. All of them, most of them are good in pretty much all types of content. Anyways, guys, that's going to be all for today's video. Hopefully you all enjoyed. I'll see you guys when I'm doing another time. Bye, guys.